We live in a world today where the motorcycle manufacturers are going hard at each other. Who's got the biggest engine? Who's got the best brake horsepower figures? Who's got the most features in electronics? Well, with the BSA Gold Star Shadow Black, we take a step back. This modern classic allows us to just forget about all that, leave the willy waving down at the pub. We get to ride this and enjoy its basic, simple riding pleasures, reminiscent of a time gone by. For those of you who are unaware, my name is Usernamekate, and we're about to jump on this bike, give it a ride and see what it's all about. Stick around. Right, we're going to jump straight in with the riding part of this vlog, which isn't something that I normally do. Normally I have a bit of B-roll, you get to hear my dulcet tones waffling on over pretty images of the bike, but we're getting stuck in straight away with the ride. We will still do the tarty B-roll stuff, but we'll do it at the end. So, first time I've ever had a BSA on the channel. Oh, it sounds nice. Now, I'm a bit of a freak, and I like my single cylinders to sound like dirty wet farts when you crack it open on the throttle, and this sounds like that, and I love it. Yes. Instantly, I'm going to talk about the ride. We'll go straight on here. I never go straight on here. So we'll see what it's all about down here. So first things first, the Gold Star isn't a new model. It's not like fresh on the shelves. Oh no, it's this horrid stuff. Not the shale. Oh, we might end up doing a bit of flat tracking here. Leg out job. I digress. So the Gold Star is not a mega new model, but the Gold Star Shadow Black edition is a new model, and believe it or not, the Shadow Black is actually one of the cheaper Gold Stars available. So on the website, BSA claim that this bike starts at £5,999 plus on the road. Now, a lot of manufacturers do that because a pre-on the road cost, you know, sounds good when you can just get it slightly under that, you know, £6,000 mark. But the reality of it is, on the road costs are going to be roughly around £300. You've got the tax, the year's tax, and you've got the vehicle first registration fee also, which does come to about that. But still, £6,300 or more of this stuff isn't all too bad. We've got some Pirellis on this, and Pirellis we trust. But yeah, in this video I'm going to focus specifically on the Shadow Black colourway. Now, it is just predominantly that. It's a colourway, you don't get any fancy features or extras with it. But I feel like this is the bike that's designed for someone that probably wants a modern classic but doesn't want the maintenance that comes with having a shed load of chrome, because I know I'm one of those people. I'm not interested in something that's glistening in the sunshine of a summer's day with all the chrome, because yeah, it might look pretty, but I want to say I'm too busy, but the reality is I'm probably too lazy to keep on top of chrome. This is genuinely the first time that I have ridden this bike. The weather wasn't favourable when we picked this up. It wasn't favourable at all. Okay, testing out its overtaking punch, and it's got it. It's got it. And now we're in a nice 30, so I have to behave ourselves. Yes, apologies, I digress again, honestly, I'm scatty-brained. So I give you guys loads of reviews where in the B-roll footage the bike is absolutely honking, and it's always so embarrassing, and I wanted to give you guys a nice, respectable bike. So I picked it up in the van, and let me tell you, this bike is a long boy. Sheesh! When we loaded it in the van, we have a Vivaro, just a normal Vauxhall Vivaro. When we loaded it in the van and put it on the chock, we could almost not shut the back of the door. It's just clearing the reg, just slightly, which was crazy because we put bikes in there all the time and never had any clearance issues. So yes, it's long, but it's low. So low. It's got a seat height of 782mm. Oh, chug chug chug. Doesn't like 2000 revs in that gear. Just letting me know about it in true stroppy single style. Love it. But yes, this bike does not have a gear indicator from what I can see. I've been trying to look for it. The dash is pretty. So we've got twin clocks, we've got the miles an hour on the left. The miles an hour moves in weird ways. It starts from the right and goes round, which is quite a strange thing to adjust your eyes to when you're used to just normal analog dashes. So on this side we have our revs. Again, they seem to be the wrong way round. And then we have a little LCD screen on the top of each of them. One with our odometer, one with our fuel. And then you can't see because of my GoPro, but right in front there is a little screen, almost smoked glass, that is housed nice and neatly in the headlight cowl. But to be quite honest, it's not that easy to see, but I think all it does is throw up idiot lights like neutral and oil and all that jazz, and they were illuminated when I fired the bike up, when I switched the ignition on, of course, but then I haven't really looked at them since. Oh, it started to rain. Of course it has, because I wanted to get you some fancy b-roll footage with a nice clean bike, and then it starts to rain. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? This is a Usernamekate ride review. Of course it's gonna rain, even in the heart of summer. It's just rude at this point. So yeah, if I go to neutral, I say that, I just did it to look at the light, and it is pretty bright, to be fair. And I think that's all that screen does, just throw up idiot lights. So yeah, I guess it's not so important to see what's on it, because there's nothing on it until it's in use and it's lit up, if that makes sense. Probably didn't. I'm trying, guys. I'm not articulate. I'm not eloquent. The engine of this bike, we've got a 652cc single cylinder. It produces 45 brake horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 55 newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. Oh, it does sound rather nice. Do you know what? So far it's giving me a feeling of just lovely easygoing riding, back to basics. It looks real nice. It's got a lot of character to it. The switchgear is fairly minimal. The dashes look pretty. We kind of have on the left hand side of the switchgear, we have something there which is kind of like a charging hub, which has a USB and a USB-C charger. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see that. It's got a nice affirmative clunk when you shut it. And I like the fact that that kind of balances out the reservoir on this side. We've got equilibrium in life. I do hope I can find some twisties for you guys. I don't ever come down here, so I'm a bit bamboozled as to whether we are going to get some twisties. I do hope so. This seat, we've got a nice big bench seat that is so far inoffensive to my buttocks. Oh, I just caught a glimpse of myself in a shot reflection, because vain. And oh, it looks lovely. It looks pretty. Yeah, it definitely has good grunt. It's got good grunt for towns. So as I mentioned, no gear indicator, so we are just kind of going off sound and feel. Oh, this is a really pleasant bike to ride. And you know what, if I could find some twisties, I reckon it'd be fairly handy. So the gear shifter is quite weird. It's one of them, I'm in first now, and you can just keep pressing it down. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys have ever ridden the BMW R9T, but that does it as well. Once you've hit first gear, you can just, it's like spongy, you can just keep pressing it, but obviously it's not doing anything. But it still just keeps going down, and it's also strangely the same for going up as well. So it's a 5-speed gearbox, yet oddly enough, once you get to that 5th gear, I'm one of these like freaks that keeps putting it up just sometimes to make sure I am in that final gear, and it just keeps going and going. It's crazy. So now, for example, brakes. Oh, look, it's in front. I'm smashing down the box. That's lovely. I love it. I just thought I'd tell you. What a nice little thing. Look at that wooden dash panel. Oh, it sounds right nice also. Let's go to Wheelton. Okay. Yeah, so we can get the speed up a little bit here. Clear. Looks a bit dusty. Don't like that. Well, that's because this road works. Dude, it's a red. What the hell? What the hell? What the hickety heck? I guess red lights don't apply to Mr. Speedy Gonzales. What the hell? But yeah, so hopefully on these roads we can give it a bit more of a lick onwards. Within reason, of course. But no, so far, mightily impressed. I love the feeling of it. Oh, if only that was a police car. That would have been sweet justice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm massively surprised by it. We'll get some close-ups of it at the end and a bit more of a true look at this bike, because I know you want to see it, and that's understandable. It can get up to speed nicely. The weight of this bike is something like 213.5 kilograms with 90% fuel. But I tell you what, I wouldn't think that. Oh, all the old bangers are out today, I love it. Yeah, it definitely can pick its feet up, I like that. The torque is nice and linear on it. This is a nice ride. This is a nice ride. I do like it, and I am surprised. I thought it would feel a lot more like Billy Bog standard to ride, a bit basic. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't have crazy performance features. The brakes work well enough. We've got Brembo calipers on the front. The back brake, let's have a go. Yeah, the back brake does a good job. Let's try them both together, given that there's nothing behind us. And we're going into a 30, let's see how quick we can get it down. Yeah, we got it right down to 30. Oh, again, we're at that 2 gram mark. She's a bit chuggy. Chug, 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 but that's fine. So, yeah, let's figure out what gear I'm in. Get it right down to first, second, third. So we're in third and we're doing 25 mile an hour. We're sitting at just over 2 grand. It's quite comfortable there. It's quite comfortable. It's got some alright engine braking to it as well. So who do I think this bike would suit? I definitely believe it would suit somebody that has an appreciation for BSA as a company. I know obviously lots of things have changed in terms of production and all that jazz. Things don't stay the same as they were in the 1950s. Times change, times move on. But I do think that this bike does capture just that back to basics, no ego riding, where you can just go out for a bimble, enjoy listening to the sound of this thing, plodding along. And don't get me wrong, like, I definitely feel like it can move its feet if it needs to. It can pick them up and look sharp. Like third gear roll on. Let's give it a nice flow around here. Oh, I like that. I like it so much so we're going to go back. We're going to go back. Yeah, I love this big flower, big sweeper. Oh, it handles it lovely. I'd say the suspension is quite plushy, for sure. Like, I've not gone over anything and been like, ugh, jarring. It just kind of wallows over it. We've got twin shock at the rear. And wallows over it, not even particularly in a bad way, but then again, I am just shy of 10 stone, which is, I want to say, 137 pounds, if that's the metric you use. Kilograms, gosh, I'm not sure, 60 something. And the suspension is absolutely fine for somebody of my weight. But yeah, the riding experience of it, I'm actually really enjoying. Honestly, I thought it might be a bit boring for my taste, I'm being truthful, because I like my aggressive, mega sporty bikes, but I absolutely love how this rides. Big shocker for me. Oh, look at this. Straight up to roundabouts, don't get too giddy, Kate. Clear. Oh, I just love the sound of it. I really love the sound of it. I bet you could get that sounding even more disgusting, in a good way. A few things I'm not 100% on. I'll go through those in my little piece to camera bit with you guys, but from a riding perspective, she chugs. We love a good chugger. Oh. Thank you. Sounded like something fell over in that. Oh, yes. Hello. Too blessed to be stressed. Right guys, I said I'd drag you back towards the end for some fancy B-roll footage so you can actually look at this bike and look at the finer details of it. So if we look at prices of the bike, the Shadow Black, which is this one, and the Highland Green start at £5,999 plus on the road. Then we have three other colour options: Dawn Silver, Midnight Black and Insignia Red. They all start from £6,499 plus on the road. Then if you want to be super fancy, there is a Legacy Edition, which will set you back £7,000 plus on the road. That one's just a bit tartier. If we take a look at the engine, it is a liquid-cooled single cylinder. It's a 652cc engine that produces 45 brake horsepower at 6,500 RPM, and it produces 55 Newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. Having a quick look at the brakes, we've got a single 320mm floating disc with a 2-piston Brembo floating caliper. And if we look at the rear, we have a Brembo 1-pot caliper on a single 255mm disc. Suspension on this bike, we have 41mm telescopic forks. Then on the rear we have twin rear shocks, which is very common for a modern classic style bike. This does have a 5-step adjustable preload as well. Looking at the wheels are pretty fancy. We've got an 18-inch front and we've got a 17-inch rear. They are 36 wire spoked wheels. And on those rims we do have Pirelli Phantom Sports Con, which I've ridden in Belgium on the Continental GT, and I actually find them really good for the type of bike that it is. Other stats that we have with this bike: it has a 12-litre fuel tank capacity. The bike has a seat height of 782mm. It is crazy low. 5'4", 29-inch inside leg measurement, and this is what it's like for me to sit on the bike. Talking about some of the positives of this bike, one, I really like the looks of it. I just think everything is so beautifully proportioned. The wheels look great, the headlight looks great, the tank is gorgeous with that real big logo or emblem on there. Another thing that I like, there's not much chrome to polish on this, and I really like that. I also really like the fact that the switchgear is very simplistic, and we do have the charging options on the left side of the handlebar. The bench seat for me was very comfy. I like the little Union flag detail there, and I really like the BSA detail on the back of the seat as well. Just makes it look quality. It handles excellently for a modern classic. I was really impressed. So moving on to some negatives, I really wish they would have done away with the big silver painted engine casing on each side. I just think it cheapens the bike a little bit in terms of looks, and I feel like if it was all black it would look a little bit more premium. Same with the stickers that are on it. I don't particularly like these gun stickers everywhere, just purely because they are just stickers like you would get in, you know, for example, like when you were younger and you were yapping away and your mum would give you a colouring book to shut up and they'd have stickers in. They do visually look like those kind of stickers. So again, that's just something that cheapens it a little bit and makes you think that maybe the £6,000 price tag is warranted because of those little details. Don't get me wrong, the bike looks quality in a lot of other areas. I just think it doesn't need those to bring it down. I really like the silver bits on the fin of the engine. I'm glad that they didn't just black all that out, because that is actually quite a nice elegant touch, and it does tie in nicely with the fuel tank and the very rare bits of chrome that are on the bike, like the fender struts, or sorry, the mudguard struts if you're English. Another thing I think it is, when you're running it in, a bit of a high maintenance machine, in the sense that you do have to let it run for 2 to 3 minutes to warm up. It doesn't like a quick blip of a throttle. It tends to cut out on you. Now, when you do look in the safety guidelines, which I'll pop up on the screen now, it does say not to just, you know, like shallow blip it, especially when it's cold, because it doesn't like that. I do feel like you can have other manufacturer bikes that it's competing with that don't do that from experience. And again, that just kind of leads me to think that it does feel a bit cheaper when it's got these kind of restrictions on it. Like, you can't just blip the throttle from it, you know, being fired up just to give it a bit of a warm up. It does not like it at all, which I noticed. But then reading the safety guidelines, they do specify that you shouldn't be just over blipping it just for the sake of it, because it just doesn't like it. It's just stroppy. And the suspension for my weight is absolutely adequate. I really do like the fact that they've put the shrouds on the suspension at the front, because I do feel like that makes it look a bit more expensive than if they were left uncovered, because I reckon there's some probably thin suspension legs under there, but they've beefed it out a bit with the shroud. But one thing that I don't like, actually, just looking at the bike now, I don't quite like the visible welds on the shroud. When you're riding it and you look down, you can see them and they look a bit ugly. And I suppose that takes me to the welds of the whole bike. They are visible, they are there. I'm not personally offended by them, but I know there's quite a few people out there who don't like a visible weld mark, and there are quite a few. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 just on the little bit that surrounds the side casing. So yeah, lots of welding there. So for me it is balanced with a few positives and a few negatives, but what I will say is that the ride of this bike is lovely and it's something that I really, really enjoy. Well guys and girls, I hope you have enjoyed my vlog on the BSA Gold Star Shadow Black. What do you think about this bike? I personally really, really like the aesthetic, more so probably than the other Gold Stars in the range, and I actually really like that this has one of the cheapest price tags of them all, which is quite a shock because normally you do pay a bit of a premium for a stealthy blacked out look, as we've learnt from BMW's triple black. But I have genuinely really, really enjoyed pootling along on this, and also, you know, wanging it into a few country lanes. It performs lovely and it actually really, really did surprise me. Well guys and girls, if you like what you've seen in this vlog, please consider hitting that subscribe button, it means the world, as you guys know. And until the next time, take care, ride safe, look after each other, all that jazz, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!